Hi guys, Billy back, and this time we're going to be looking at the 1/6 scale Hot Toys Wolf Predator 2.0. At least I think it's the Hot Toys Wolf Predator 2.0. I'm not entirely... Hang on, give me a second, hang on. Let me just check. Oh yes, that's definitely him. Okay, this feels like it took forever to come out. I don't know what happened. Maybe they were doing them in batches or something, but maybe Sideshow delayed and then 1 month rolled into another, and then like where the payment plans were set up, it meant mine rolled over a month later than everybody else's or something. But Sideshow just took forever to get this guy in. I don't know if, like I said, it was probably batches. As it is, I'm probably definitely the last person in the world to ever get this guy. I've seen so many people get their Wolf Predators way before I did. But he's finally arrived and I'm really glad to have him. I'm not going to do a review. This is just more like a showcase. The latest thing in my collection. The day before this guy arrived, Thanos arrived. That was nice. So I got 2 figures in, space of 2 days, which is always good. It would have been nice to spread it all out a little bit, but as it is, I had to do it this way. Oh well, honestly, Wolf Predator obviously isn't my favourite Predator in the whole world. I mean, it's from a movie that pretty much sucked. Alien vs Predator Requiem was crap. I didn't enjoy it. It was too dark. It was unenjoyable. I didn't get the whole teenager horror film trope thing that they were going for. It was just, it didn't work on any level. But the coolest thing about it was Wolf. And Wolf was the coolest thing simply because, like in Pulp Fiction, Winston Wolfe goes around cleaning up other people's messes. John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson's characters, he turns up and he helps them clean out the car and get rid of any evidence that they accidentally murdered a man. And this is pretty much what Wolf Predator is in this movie, and that's why they called him the Wolf, simply. He goes around and he cleans up messes that maybe the Predators have all been going about doing all their hunting, and, they occasionally screw things up. If an alien escapes and it starts to multiply, then he gets sent in to clean it all up. Why they send one, I don't know. I think they would send quite a few in, just in case one gets killed. But how was ever... Okay, let's have a look at this head sculpt. It's really nice. One of the reasons I think Wolf Predator is so cool, because he has that sort of slightly melted face from where he's clearly had battle with aliens before, and he's lost a mandible there at the top in the right hand side. Pretty awesome. And he's also lost possibly some vision in that left eye, or maybe it's been damaged somewhat. I really like it. I think there's a few things they could have done to improve the overall look of him. I think they could have maybe added a little bit more green or a little bit more colour in there. I've seen some people do some repaints of that head sculpt. I think the Geek Collector, I think is the name of the channel, he has one and he did a repaint of the head and it looks really good. So if you fancy it, go check that out. But I really like this. I think it's probably the best way to pose this guy. I know he's got a really cool face mask and everything, but I think this guy's face is just way more interesting than the average Predator. So that's why I think I'm going to keep him displayed like this, and you can see there's all that sort of scarring on the left hand side of his face there, mandible missing. The inside of the mouth looks really good. It's not too pink, it's not too red. They've had a good mix in there. Obviously you can see the seam line on the side there for the mandible, still pretty good. And you can also see all the little tiny details, like these little talon spikes here, just there, and on the side of the face here, just there, and on the side of the face there, just there. Be very careful of those could pop off at any time. So I would keep him on a shelf where you can able to tell if one of these falls off. You'll be able to find it quite easily. He's got these nice rubber mandibles here. Unfortunately, I think some people have complained that they're a bit thin. There's not another layer in there that there should be, but I think his hair should be a bit thin anyway. He's older, he's wiser, slightly balding, I think is probably the best way to describe it. And the beads look really nice in the dreadlocks there. And there's just a good layering, there's good effects. I don't really have a problem. Some people have said that the left eye is not milky enough, which could be true because it is very subtle. When you look at it like this, you can barely tell that there's anything different with that left eye. Some people have gone in and slightly milked it up a bit more, which is really good, and I'm tempted to do that as well, just because I think that would work better if you had a far more milkier eye. It would actually explain and show that there is a difference between the left and the right, because there's a lot of scarring and a lot of marks here, but when you turn this around, he hasn't got it on this side, but it's not as obvious as I would like. I would like this part to be shown to be, you know, just completely different, more like Two-Face or something like that, where he's completely battered. And there is, I feel like they've dropped green out a little bit. The green is a little dropped, but that could actually be to help with the movie accuracy. But then how could you tell what he looked like in that film? You couldn't really see him. So I think they've done a reasonably good job. Well, I lie, actually. No, they haven't done a reasonably good job. They've done a great job on this guy. They always consistently smash it out of the park with Predators, especially the 2.0s. They get better and they look nicer and they are more solid. In fact, I think I've got rid of all my original Predators now, and all I've got are 2.0s. I've got Elder Predator, Classic Predator, Scar Predator and Predator 2, and now this guy to add to him. So I've got one from at least every movie that I kind of like. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of AVP, but I did like the Predators in it, so when they were on screen I enjoyed it, and then when you weren't on screen it was dog shit. And if we come down to the armour, again, they've done a really great job as per usual. I mean, this is, apart from the new head sculpt, there isn't a lot here that they haven't been able to achieve before. And they always know how to do these Predators now. So when you've got the skills to keep making these guys without too much struggle, I think Hot Toys will do that, because it makes them money and it's a lot less R&D. They're not sitting there for hours on end painting and repainting and painting and repainting to see what matches and what doesn't match and things like that. They know they can do Predator armor, so they can just knuckle down and get on with the job, and they did a great job here. I do think they took a little long to get this guy out, and it's partly because they're so tied up with Marvel at the moment. You know, there's a lot of characters to get through, so they were pretty much tied up there. I mean, that's why we had a real delay on the DC characters as well. Like I said, I think Hot Toys do a really great job, but I think they've bitten off a bit more than they can chew with Marvel, DC and Star Wars. So when they get a chance to do something from another movie franchise, I am very quick to support it, because I want them to know that I would like variety. As we can see, there's nice black wash in that armor going all the way around the back. You can see these shoulder cannons look really cool, and these are great because they've repeated like this 3 times with this figure. They've got a handgun and 2 shoulder cannons, and it works pretty well. And this part slides up and down. You can move this up and down. Can't do it right now, I've only got one hand. You can see some great details in the back here, and you've got this hook here to hold his spear. I'll show you that in a minute. And this is the second shoulder cannon, and people have had problems with this. They found it very difficult to put this guy into the actual armor, and I think maybe that's one of the problems. Maybe a slight delay came because they were changing or just adapting the that bit of the armor, maybe, because when I got him there was a certain knack to putting that shoulder armor in, which is there's a slight, you got to put it on, slide it down and then click it into place. It's like slide, click, it just stays there. I haven't had to glue it, I haven't had to move anything, it's just fixed in there now perfectly. And this is the original piece of armor that they give you, and I've taken that off, and as you can see there's this bit here. When you take that off here, there's a bit that slides on the inside just there, and you slide it down and then click it into place. So slide, click. It worked for me anyway, so I can't really complain. Maybe that was one of the delays. They had to try and redo that. But as you can see, you come around, you've got this lovely pleather-like straps, but they're not pleather. And I'm actually glad about that, because as we all know, they were really into the adding pleather to things where possible. But unfortunately, as has been proven time after time, the pleather cracks and split. And when they don't put pleather into a figure, even though it looks really cool, I'm glad that they've managed to skirt around it, because then it's a less of a likely problem that it will break apart. That's not breaking apart anytime soon. You've got a vial here, and this goes with the, where is it, magic blue glue that he has in the movie that he uses to pour on things to get rid of evidence, which is actually a really nice piece here. Done a good job sculpting all of that in. And you've got this clear blue plastic piece in the top, and there's a lid, and that just slots into place just there. Gauntlets are nicely detailed. You've got the little screens on there with the alien writing on, and it opens up and you can see on the inside there, again, very much a very Predator trope, and they've even sculpted and detailed the inside piece there, of course there. And then we have the blade gauntlet on this side, again weathered and painted to perfection. Some nice sculpting and nice details in there. You have to really look to see them though. He comes with 4 blades, 2 long ones and 2 short ones. And here are the long ones slotted in. Looks badass. We can come down, we can see the accessories attached to the loincloth, shall we say. We've got his sharp metal whip that he uses, cut things down. And he has 2 of these bladed weapons sitting on the back. Because this guy is heavily armoured up. That's why they call him heavy armour. But he's really ready for war. It was one of the things everyone liked about this character. He comes with an open one of these, which is almost pretty much the same as all the other ones they've released for the AVP movies. I believe this is the Scar Predator one, and this is the new one. Slightly darker details. In fact, I actually think there's difference in details here with the blades. Look at the AVP Scar one, you can see that the details are slightly different. Oh, there's a slightly different black wash on there. I think they're different. Seems to be anyway. Then we've got the armour on his legs. Go away around the back with the straps, shin guards and the feet. Nothing different from the normal Predator that you see normally. Here's the stand he's on. I'm not a big fan of this stand. I just think it's got 2 foot crevices there that pretty much tells you that's the only place you can really stand. And then you've got this alien head here, and it's the green paint, while still a bit brighter and a lot more vibrant than the original, still doesn't seem right. This looks very flat and squashed in, and it's nicely painted all in all. I think the green paint, the green blood is a little bit of a disappointment. It doesn't really glow or anything like that. Imagine if they did that as a light up base, that would be awesome. But you know, money constraints and all of that. It's okay, it'll do the job, but I would have liked to have seen something just a little bit more special. Considering how often they release Predators, it's incredibly rare, so I would like them to do an incredibly rare stand, something special, something that, you know, people would be fighting over online and things for, you know, they'd be like, oh, I really want one of them. Okay, and then we get this guy here, and this is just like a medical kit that he carries around with him. Some great sculpting and detail in there, from variants of textures just there. Armor plating, got some moving parts in it. If you open it up, pull this part out a little bit, open these bits, and then inside you can usually see that there's part of the needle test that he does there. There's the cylinder for this. Unfortunately, this had a bit on the end, which is this bit, and I have to re-glue them back in because it just fell off. It wasn't very glued on very well, unfortunately, but again, that's an easy fix. You just get a little tiny dab of glue, pop it on, no problem. And then you get one of the handles for the gun piece he uses later in the film, and they all slot in pretty well actually. I've got to do it. I'm trying to do it on camera here through a screen. It's not working very well. Ah, come on. There we go. Then we sort of push this back in, close these bits up. Now they need to be closed up almost together because one bit overlaps, one goes under the top, so you put them both together like that. Voila. And then that's going to go on the back of his armour here. And this is the handle onto the gun that we see here. And I'm pretty sure people have pointed out that this is backwards. From what they saw in the movie, this handle is the wrong way round. It's got quite a nice movement in there. You can move it around so it points in a certain direction. And this part slides off, but it's supposed to slide forward, but it comes all the way off. It can slide if you really want it to. Yeah, and I know someone who managed to take this apart, split it in 2, take the handle out, swap it around and put it back together. So I'll be interested to see if I can do that at some point. But nice sculpting, nice colours. It's not all just one big silver piece. It's got that plate in there and it's got this part here. And even on the bottom, it's still got different textures in there. And then we have his spear. Pulls all the way out. And it extends quite a long ways. But like with most of the Predator spears, at some point one of these is going to break off. I know it in my heart. It always does, even when you don't want it. Even when you're really careful, a lot of the time, these things just can break apart no matter what. So I think I won't be posing him with this guy. See, it's very difficult there just to push it back because of the paint creates a wrong amount of friction. Ugh, see, nervous. Voila. But again, very nice sculpting, details all the way throughout. Lovely gloss finish to the silver, and then some black wash over the top. Very dingy. And this is his mask. I think this doesn't actually have a light up feature in it anymore. No, I don't think it does. It doesn't have a light up feature anymore. They've taken that out. A lot of people rejoiced. They were just like, good, we never used it anyway. And that's fair enough. And then these bits come around and they go into the back of the armour. It's a really nice mask, but I don't think I'll be displaying him with this on. I really like the original sort of open mandibles version. And he comes with a miniature skull necklace, and we get 2 extra hands. This one is, I believe, the whip holding hand. I believe this one is the gun holding hand, or vice versa. I'm not entirely sure. This might actually be the gun, and this might be the whip. and spear and everything else. No open hands, no relaxed hands. That is a shame. Everybody said it before. And then he comes with this open whip. You see the details in there. Some nice blue, some silvers, a little bit of bronze and gold, and some browns. Some really great detail in this one. It comes all the way along, and it looks like an alien tail, to be honest. And it's malleable and bendable. You can see this losing its moisture and breaking apart in a few years. So don't be surprised if in a few years, when people are selling their wolf predators, they're advertising it as this accessory coming cracking and breaking apart. It's always a way. And here he is, all heavily armoured up. I've put his mask on, I've put the wires into the back, into the little hole where they're supposed to go. Bit fidgety, but you can do it. One of the problems that I had was putting this necklace on, and the reason it's so difficult is because he's got all these tiny little spikes on the side of the head that are very fragile, and you've got to pop the head off to put that on, and it becomes really difficult. And in actual fact, the neck came off instead of the head. They tell you that the head pops off, but I just couldn't do that. The neck gave out way before the head ever did. And when putting the necklace on, then I put his neck cover back on. But unfortunately, the neck cover trapped a couple of dreadlocks inside, and that can cause some damage, so be very careful of that. Didn't damage it this time, but I knew for a fact if I tried to yank them out, one of them would have snapped. So you have to go back, take the cover off very slowly and make sure it doesn't damage the dreadlocks, and then start again. And then you can see he's got his whip in the right hand and his cannon in the left hand. He's got all his medikits on the back. He's got the vial just on the side of his thing there, and it looks pretty cool. I've got him sort of standing on top of that alien head like he's just taken it out with the whip. Would have been nice if their whip had some green paint on it so it looked like an alien had attacked it, but I understand probably would have looked just as tacky as that. So actually, thinking about it, it's probably best they didn't. What other problems did I have with this guy? One of the shoulder cannons popped off, and half of it was still on the armour and half of it had fallen off. It turned out there is a ball joint there, and the ball joint can pop off, so be very careful. But also don't panic. If the ball joint pops off, you can just slowly put it back on. Luckily, I haven't damaged anything on the figure, thank Christ, but it is something to be very, very careful of. Articulation wise, he's okay. He's a little stiff, but I'm glad he's a little stiff, because if he was too loose, he would only get looser with time. So it'll soften up over the years, I think, but he still looks really cool. I really like all the extra accessories you get with him. The downsides, I would have liked some closed mandibles, but I don't think I would have ever posed him with the closed mandibles anyway, so I'm not too upset about that. But I also would have preferred him with a few more options for hand. But this is the heavy armoured version. Because he's the heavy armoured version, he's ready for action. And part of me thinks he would be best to have the mask on. Because he is heavy armoured, he's going into battle. He won't go without the mask because it's a slight disadvantage to him. Sorry for kicking the camera, but it is. And I just have to show that head sculpt. I really like it. So despite the movie inaccuracy of it a little bit, I'm going to display him with that head sculpt with the open mandibles, I think. Overall, this is a really nice addition to the collection. Like I said, I'm not doing a review for this guy because there's no need. I don't see why, there's plenty of them out there. All I can do is tell you what I think of this guy, and he is going to look fantastic in my collection. In fact, I'm going to put him up on the shelf now, and you can see what he's like with the others. I'm going to get a new stand for him. Sorry for the shaky cam, but this is what we have to do. And he's going to go up with the other predators, and I'm going to get him, because the stand is quite big. It's a bit of a shame. We've got him standing there now, looking completely boss. Just there. And that's him next to the older predator, classic predator, scar predator, and city hunter predator. And as you can see, I think that looks pretty cool overall. Yep, I like it. I'm really glad I got this guy. He's definitely a must buy if you're a predator fan, for certain. If you're not a predator collector, or you don't particularly like the movie, I don't see why you'd go nuts to buy this guy. But if you have the spare money there and you like him, definitely want to pick up. Okay guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, share the videos, and if you could do me a favour now, if you could get the fuck out of my cave, I've got a delivery coming. No, not a 1/6 scale figure, but it's a Mezco figure. Thor Ragnarok. Thor has finally arrived from Mezco. It finally came to the UK. I think the rest of the world got it way before we did. I have to take it on the chin for a little while. Things might not get to me as soon as possible, but as soon as they come, I'm definitely going to do videos of all my collection. So like and subscribe, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Bye bye.